Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Trilby's Notes, the third game in the Trilby quadrilogy. If you've never played 5 Days a Stranger, 7 Days a Skeptic, or seen my videos on either of those games, then I recommend stopping this vid now and rectifying your error. My limited understanding indicates that 5 days and 7 days are lightweights compared to Trilby's Notes. This game is the longest of the three, the most difficult, and the most horrific. Furthermore, rather than the convenient mouse control of the previous game, Trilby's Notes functions entirely through the keyboard, so it'll play like one of those text-based adventure games of old. You know, the text parser. As with the previous game, I'll spare you a monologue. Check the video description for any pertinent details. Just know, I've almost doubled the amount of people I've blocked on YouTube since I started uploading Yahtzee's games. Please refrain from sending me informative data, either about the games or Yahtzee himself, copy pasta from Wikipedia, posting spoilers, or asking me whether I'm going to play or upload any more of these games. Anyway, enough talk. Let's get on with Trilby's Notes and the shit ton of exposition I'm going to have to read. I had to clear my throat there a bit. Oh boy. Hope you folks are excited. I am. Offhand, I might have to fucking adjust the volume of the game through my encoding software after I finish recording it. It's unfortunate, but there's no in-game volume controls, and as it turns out with Yahtzee's games, they adamantly are steadfast at the system maintaining a specific volume for them. Yeah, that's enough. Had to get it off my chest. Tutorial, we'll leave that on. Commentary, nah. The following documents are taken from the handwritten notes of Trilby, an STP field operative. Oh my god, I couldn't finish that. Game over. Well, yep, because I couldn't finish it. Fuck. Well, hope you enjoyed this Let's Get On With It adventure, everybody. No, I did a little test to make sure the game would record properly. Ta-da! That was what I thought as I stood and watched Defoe Manor collapse into flaming ash. On the bright side, I can now read things at my own pace. Most things that appear up in these notes things. So yeah, this game bridges the gap between 5 days and 7 days, and explains, you know, the fuck happened that ended up getting John Defoe's idol up there into space for John Somerset, or whoever he is, to locate it in the future. Yeah. The ordeal was over. Those 5 days cost us all so much. Philip and AJ paid with their lives. They were the fortunate ones. Jim Fowler was expelled from school for truancy, a bright future in tatters. Simone Taylor took to the bottle. Her broadcasts became slurred, her eyes hollow and unwelcoming. She soon vanished from television screens. As for me, I tried to return to life as a cat burglar, but I had been forever tainted by my time spent in that wretched house. The memories of my possession came back in my nightmares. Every night I was there again, in the mansion, staring out through unfamiliar eyes as Philip died at my hands. I became convinced that John Defoe was not at rest, that someday he would return for me. I became so terrified of invisible enemies that I forgot about the tangible ones. 2 slow, miserable years after Defoe Manor, a barrage of truncheon blows taught me a harsh lesson in reality, and I woke up in the kind of filthy cell I assumed would be my new home. But then he came, the man from the government with his nervous smile, offering an alternative. The STP, the Special Talent Project. It hadn't been that much earlier that I would have sooner died than entered an obligation with anyone, least of all the government. Had Defoe Manor changed me so much? Whatever my reasons, I left my past behind, and resolved to give my new superiors nothing to complain about. I spent a year and a half completing assignments, developing contacts, building a reputation, muting my microphone. Whew. And then, the past caught up. In the summer of 1997, I became concerned about Simone Taylor's mental well-being. You know, perhaps the ancestor of William Taylor. The fucker who made that abomination. The papers were reporting her continual breakdown, and she had become a virtual recluse. I had no idea if my appearance would assist or hinder. I had, after all, deliberately allowed her to think me dead. Presumably, she knew differently now, after the media coverage of my arrest, but I would expect her to be bitter about my subterfuge. On balance, I decided that a meeting with an old friend would most likely be beneficial. I came to an apartment building on a warm, stormy night and braced myself for the encounter. Use the cursor keys to move. Okay. Alright, I can do that game. Okay, so, look. Simone's apartment building was gripped by a thick smell of musty, unwashed carpets. It perplexed me that a celebrity would choose to live in such low-rent accommodation. Look window. A summer storm was raging outside. Light rain pattered against the glass, the gentle noise punctuated by rumbles of coarse thunder. Look rug. Look carpet. Look Trilby. I felt almost naked without my blazer, but it was impractical during the summer months. Look door. There were 2 entrances to 2 apartments. Simone's was the one on the right. Okie dokie. Knock on door? I knocked sharply upon Simone's door. Yoo-hoo! Receiving no reply, I knocked again, louder.
Housekeeping! You want me flush your pillow? Housekeeping! Housekeeping! You leave me out here, I charge you extra! Housekeeping! Housekeeping!
Still no response. The doorman had assured me Simone was in. I decided it was time to enter by my own methods. Press tab or type in to review your inventory. Lockpicks. So, unlock door? I reasoned that Simone could have been in trouble, and even if she wasn't, then at worst I was only playing to my reputation. I spent a few minutes feverishly picking the lock, then let myself in. Look. Simone's bedroom light refused to turn on. I stood in pitch darkness, the intermediate flashes of lightning preventing my eyes from adjusting. Well, open blind? Ow. Okay. Let's try that again. Oops. F3.
Hello?
Oh. The body on the floor was undoubtedly Simone. I felt for a pulse, and my hands came away stained with long, cool blood. My fingers traced the outline of a large wound in her torso, slashed by a big weapon, wielded by a big assailant. I called for an ambulance as futile as it would be, and left before they arrived. Futile. Futile. Due to me being a clear murder suspect, I was relieved from duty for the week it took for the Ministry of Occultism to inspect the flat and confirm supernatural activity. My superiors simultaneously apologized and assigned me to investigate if there was a connection to the Defoe Manor incident. Merely reading those 3 words, capitalized on the front of a loose-leaf file, brought the nightmares back with more intensity than ever. Sure enough, a field agent reported that looters had discovered and sold several artifacts from the mansion, including the wooden idol that housed John Defoe's soul. To my surprise, no murders had been reported or committed by anyone who had come into contact with the accursed trinket. I did not find this reassuring. I quickly advised James Fowler to go into hiding. He was stunned, but agreed. The boy had sense and still respected my judgment. This done, I began following the idol's trail. From the pawn shop it had entered the possession of one Professor Abed Shahal. Barry? The plot thickens. An authoritative historian. He had scheduled some kind of antique fair in the Clanbronwyn Hotel on a small island off the coast of Anglesey? Popular with tourists. Assuming the role of a scholar of antiquities, I booked a room. On the 28th of July, oh man, the date of fun shit, 1997, I caught a ferry from there and arrived at around 3 p.m. in Clanbronwyn Island's coastal village. It seemed a peaceful hamlet, and in defiance of stereotype, the locals were welcoming and told me no local legends to dissuade me from exploring the island. The hotel was in the island's center, surrounded by forest. I made my way there on foot. You're Trilby, right? As soon as I arrived, I was greeted by a balding man in a gray anorak. I wondered if I was expected to know who he was. That depends. My name is Linkman. I'm with the Ministry of Occultism. Oh? I thought the Ministry were clear on the fact that I was handling this on my own. Maybe there are still people who don't trust you, Mr. Trilby. What? I haven't stolen anything since I joined the STP. Your colorful past is not what concerns my superiors. It hasn't gone unnoticed that your history with the Defoe Wraith influences you psychologically. I'm sure you resist it, but it could still cause you to act irrationally, disobey orders. Everyone just feels a little safer with someone else on the ground. I see. You can rest assured that I will endeavor to maintain absolute professionalism on this assignment. Nevertheless, I have my orders. Decided to read him like a douchebag. I would suggest we keep out of each other's way, then, and pursue separate investigations. I'm sure I don't want to get mixed up in a reunion. I watched him disappear around the corner of the building. I very much doubted that Linkman and I would become friends. The Clanbronwyn Hotel lobby was a warm welcome. The building was certainly well maintained, and yet there was something about it that nagged at the back of my mind, quickening my pulse, causing my throat to constrict. I dismissed the sensation, an act which in retrospect I would come to regret. Oh man, excuse me folks. And since I hesitated there, I took the time. Does that painting look familiar to you guys? Maybe I'm just imagining things. This is a hotel, right? They have landscapes around all the time, right? Good evening, Terence Railby. I have a reservation.
Ah, yes, you're here for the antique fair. We put you in room 3C on the 3rd floor. If you'd just like to sign the check-in book.
The check-in book? Hello, Bethan. Just letting you know I'll be having dinner in my room today. That's absolutely fine, Professor. I'm tired of that falsetto. This, I decided, was what they called a golden opportunity. Professor Chahal? Yes? I'm afraid you have me at a disadvantage. Railby, Terence Railby, we met at Softbees a few months ago? Oh, you don't remember me. No, of course I do. Terry Railby, how have you been? The astute reader has already guessed that both Terence Railby and the previous meeting were other fiction. Terence Railby. Good joke. I had spent some time studying Chahal's movements and habits. He was, by all accounts, absent-minded, and that was something I could use. I'm well, thanks. I was hoping I'd run into you. I've heard interesting things about the items you're showcasing here. You remember I do freelance scouting for some wealthy collectors? Yes. Well, a client of mine has expressed an interest in relics from Defoe Manor in Buckinghamshire. He's been on my back for a while about it. It must be kind of awkward. Between you and me, he seems pretty obsessed. What remained of Professor Chahal's suspicion melted away from his expression as the opportunity to make money entered the conversation. Oh boy. Well, I'm sure I wouldn't want to damage your professional status. Would you like to come up to my room for drinks? Oh, would I? Oh, I don't want to impose. No imposition at all. Please follow me. Your room key, Mr. Railby. Ah, thank you. Please lead the way, Professor. Ben? Who's your friend? Oh, let me introduce you. This is my personal assistant, Siobhan. She accompanies me on most of my excursions. Whoa. We gotta fucking click out of the game there for a second. I think that's how name's pronounced, and I think you can hear that fucking sound looping in the background. That's an Irish name. Knew an Irish girl in college named, I believe it is pronounced Siobhan. It's been a while. Waifish girl, completely Irish. Red hair, smattering of freckles on her face. Yeah. Probably have some fucking last name here, like McGillicuddy or O'Brien or O'Malley or something. Looking for information, blah blah blah, him and half the people we meet. What is it about that place? Never underestimate the attraction of a mystery, my dear. Please take a seat, Harry. I'll be right with you. Well, I guess I don't think I can really pause the game right now. So, interested in ghost stories? The girl struck me as a forceful personality. I gave the matter some thought before replying. So yeah. Siobhan. I think that's right. You know, some names I completely fucking blank on, but I do believe I've got that one correct. I guess you can correct me on that. I suppose somebody in fucking Ireland or whatever might even tell me, that fucking name's Scottish, goddammit, you're fucking wrong! And I'll be like, suck my lucky charms. Whatever. I'm trying here. It's like, cow and sunshine and fuck you. Not really. I'm just scouting on behalf of a client, like I told the professor. You know, it's strange to see someone as young as you in the antiques trade. And come to think of it, I thought only old men dressed like that. No offense meant. None taken. I didn't catch your last name. It's O'Malley. Siobhan O'Malley? Couldn't be more Irish. Yes! Sorry to keep you waiting, dear boy. Now then, what shall we talk about? Her last name is O'Malley. Okay, the game expects something from me. I can I'm a fucking oracle. Double my production speed with Marvel. Cost 150 base hammers on standard speed. That's good. I'm actually gonna have to check out that pronunciation there, after I, take my first break, which should be soon. Talk to a bit about Defoe Manor. So I understand you came into possession of artifacts from Defoe Manor. Yes, indeed, and it was astonishing to me that such artifacts existed at all. The whole place burned to the ground. Did you hear about the Defoe Manor incident? I was experiencing a sick feeling that I had not felt for quite some time. The last I had felt it was while standing at the gates of another country mansion, not long after Defoe Manor, preparing to break in. Recalling those 5 wretched days churned my stomach with fear, turning what had once been the joy of thievery into an exercise in anxiety. Discussing it brought that feeling back, the act of feigning ignorance, while visions of welding masks and machetes flooded my mind's eye, worsened them. I heard something on the news, and it's been on the news again lately since that Taylor woman died. A lot of silly talk about the paranormal has been abound, so the true facts are near unreachable. The point is, some enterprising fellows picked up 1 or 2 undamaged items from the ruins. Furniture, books, an ugly little tribal figurine, and I took them off their hands, purely out of curiosity, of course. So, were there any particular items your client is interested in? God damn it. Ask a bed about furniture. Ask a bed about books. Ask a bed about figurine. Tell me, does a huge man in a welding mask and leather apron mean anything to you? Not really, should it? Never mind. It's a small African figurine that my client wants me to look into, resembling a rather ugly tribal god. That old thing? Honestly, despite its age, it apostrophe-S age? That's what I said, but my client is very insistent. He's interested in the paranormal, and the idol features in some of the more unlikely accounts of the Defoe Manor incident. Well, I don't suppose I should ask questions if this man of yours wants to take it off my hands. I don't have it on me right now. It's being kept in the hotel safe. How convenient. Perhaps we can work out a deal after the fair. Yeah, of course. Inwardly, I just wanted to get this mission completed as fast as possible. But I didn't want to risk suspicion or giving off the wrong impression. That will be fine. So, just out of interest, what else have you picked up from the mansion? Odds and ends, basically. Some silverware and ceramics, most of a burnt rocking chair, that one in the living room, and the painting, of course. Landscape from the wall in the mansion's lounge. Of little artistic value, but the artist features prominently in Defoe Manor's colorful history. Matthew Defoe? That's him, yes. Bethan, she runs the hotel. She asked if she could, Fuck. I'm a fucking oracle. What does that do for yes? Oh boy. Instantly, I recalled the sick feeling I had felt in the lobby. I had seen the painting, but had paid it little heed. Oh. Are you all right, Mr. Railby? You've gone rather pale. What? I'm sorry, I was just distracted by my thoughts for a moment. Lost in history, eh? Something like that. What the hell was that? Oh boy. Trilby is undergoing hallucinations. That is unfortuitous. My head was spinning, and a sudden nausea churned in my gut. The world seemed to be pulsating, the corners of the room wavering like a heat haze. You may say I imagined these things, and I thought that must have been the case. Was I going out of my mind? Was the hotel really changing, into some nightmarish twin? Was I the only one who could see it? If I was hallucinating, it was too complex. The harsh wooden floor beneath my feet felt real enough. The horrendous stench of rotting flesh that reached my nostrils could not have been conjured by my imagination. I decided I had to find John Defoe's idol as soon as possible. If not that, then at least the painting Jahal had mentioned. I was convinced that some connection lay between Defoe Manor and this sudden madness. Okie dokie, folks. We're off to a great start. I am an oracle, and I cannot begin to decipher what the fuck's gonna happen next. Oh boy. See you soon.